Untraveled adventure. Hey, it's the hobo. Nice to see you're out of jail.
We meet again, Mr. Homeless Guy.
Homeless? That's the worst thing I ever heard of, and totally untrue.
So, what's up with the trash can? Digging for treasure?
Well, I'm just going through a rough patch. By the way, you owe me $10.
Nah, you agreed to 7.
You're busting my balls here.
Better get those balls checked out in this clinic then.
So cold. Like a stake through the heart.
What do they call you anyway?
Goober. Everyone calls me Goober.
Alright, I'm Kathy.
Pleasure to meet you.
Why are there so many people in literary history, literary movies, whatnot? I mean, it's not a huge amount, but there's still a surprising number of people who go by the name Goober.
So, what's your story anyway?
My story?
Yeah, don't all bums have a story?
For your information, this is all just a dry streak in my showbiz career.
Is that so? I don't recognize you at all.
I used to have more hair.
That I actually believe.
Come on, man. Frankie Gold is my stage name. Surely you must have heard of me.
Not really, no.
Oh, come on. I have starred in dozens of Hollywood movies. The Silence of the Lambert, Jacob's Bladder, The Usual Surprises, Natural Born Killers.
Not ringing any bells.
Kids these days, no appreciation for quality cinema. Breaks my heart.
Dude, if you appear in any more bootleg knockoffs, you would have been forced to appear in the whole Chip and Dale movie.
I need to ask you a few questions.
Sounds serious. Ask away.
Off chance.
Do you
I doubt it.
recognize the nickname Cocky?
Why, I used to call myself that back in Nam.
Oh my god.
Oh, how I miss that marvelous youthful ego of mine.
Why do I
never
even
mind.
bother? What's your opinion on the Church of the Holy Trinity?
I'd say they're good people. Isaac the priest is, anyway. His dad, Father Bill, on the other hand, though, he and the people he had around him were into some weird shit.
What kind of weird shit?
I don't know, they were like a cult or something, with Billy Praise himself at the top. Really shifty bunch of folks. Isaac turned it all around when his dad kicked the bucket, made it a proper church.
Interesting. Do you know anyone else who was involved in the old church?
Not really, I tried to stay as far away from those people as possible. Ask Isaac about it, he's a friendly guy.
Alright, I might do that. Do you know who Lily Myers was?
Yep, my dad was the one who found her floating in the lake.
Really? What can you tell me about her?
Ah, geez, not a lot. I mean, teenage girls, man, they're like their own species. Impossible to figure out. Not to mention how that entire family ain't, like, people-friendly.
Now that's an understatement. Nearly started brawling with Sue the first time I met her.
She could sure deal out a mean whooping, that lady.
What do you know about Lily Myers' art?
Nothing but hearsay. People say it was pretty deranged.
Do you know who Charles Wade is?
Sure, he's been holed up in this clinic for the last couple of weeks.
You saw Charles Wade go in there?
Well, yeah, I just told you, man.
How did he look?
Okay, I guess. Still walking, at least.
Do you know what happened to...
I most certainly do.
What? Tell me.
Are you sure you want to know? Not everyone can handle the truth.
Oh, just spit it out.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Abducted by aliens.
I should have known better.
Oh, I saw it, man. A big, huge light. I was a bit drunk at the time, but I had my reasons. My wife had just left me, taking the dog, not to mention I was being conscripted for the war. But I'm telling you, those goddamn aliens took him and they experimented on him. And that's why he was so messed up when they put him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
Open your mind, man.
It's a valid word, but who the hell
Okay,
says conscripted?
that's enough
They say
serious
drafted.
questions for now.
Alrighty.
So, tell me about this acting career of yours.
What about it?
Tell me about The Silence of Lambert.
Lawrence Lambert, a real estate agent, suddenly turns mute overnight. For weeks, he tries to communicate with customers using a self-invented sign language, only to realize that true love needs no communication at all. He marries his housekeeper, who only knows 2 words in English, yes and clean. In the end, Lawrence dies of a heart attack in the arms of his lovely wife, Consuelo Lambert Vasquez. Based on a true story.
What a bizarre movie.
I'm not sure I want to know what Jacob's Bladder is about, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Jacob's Bladder. The tragic story of Jacob Cobb, a schizophrenic man who forms an imaginary romantic relationship with his bladder. During long and joyful monologues on the can, he starts referring to his nether regions by the name of Jenny. Sadly, before Jacob has a chance to elope with his sweetheart, he gets committed to an asylum due to increasingly erratic behavior. After a big fight with his paramour, Jacob refuses to pee for a week, and he dies from a ruptured bladder.
Sounds like he was pissed.
Give me the rundown on The Usual Surprises.
A
Usual
lighthearted
suspect.
comedy taking place during the surprise birthday party of a 34-year-old Sid McBacon. The story is told from 8 different perspectives to keep the audience guessing who the protagonist actually is. The movie ends with the biggest surprise of them all. Sid suddenly dies of an epileptic seizure. I guess it's more of a dark comedy.
Natural Bald Killers?
It's a dystopian vision of the future where people are valued by the quality of their hair. The protagonist, Eddie Zephyr, turns bald in high school. One day, he has simply had enough of all the teasing and the bullying, and he completely snaps and heads out on a scalping spree in search of the perfect head of hair. Eddie makes his way to Mexico for an illegal hair transplant. However, he has an adverse reaction to the anesthesia and he dies on the operating table.
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
Not the cultured type. I understand.
What do you mean, never mind? You literally asked about all of
Okay,
them.
I'm off.
Bye!
No thanks. Women's magazines make my brain melt. A calendar from 1991. Guess they really liked that year.
It was a very good year.
Excuse me, nurse?
Headphones.
Hey, nurse! Yeah? Somebody around here hates their job.
No shit. What do you want?
I'm here to see Charles Wade.
Never heard of him. Anything else?
Bullshit. I know he's here. Listen, it's okay. I'm a friend of the family.
No, you're not, and I said he's not here. Don't make me call security.
What a bitch. I need to get rid of her somehow.
Okay, can't really do much here.
Smoking allowed. Guess this place is a bit behind on healthcare regulations.
Meh. What are you gonna do to stop me? Oh my god, she's not. Oh, never mind.
No point. I wouldn't even know what room to go to. Rows
Dig
and
through
columns of
files.
files. Probably easier to use the computer if I
Okay,
need to do
that
some
she
digging.
wouldn't let me get away with. Not gonna be able to go through the computer. Why? What is on the desk? Is that a kazoo? Probably a pen. Time to get the heck out of here. Go check out the church next or the nature preserve.
Hello, Father.
Greetings, my child. I'm glad you decided to come here.
Yeah, but just so you know, I'm not here to join your church or anything.
Oh, I would never assume that.
Good. So, with that out of the way, I have some questions.
For one
Anything
thing,
you
she
need.
doesn't live here.
I'm Isaac Price.
Kathy, Kathy Rain, but I'm guessing you figured that out already.
I did. Rumors spread quickly around here. So how can I be of service?
Does the name Lily Myers mean anything to you?
It does. I was a substitute teacher in her high school for some time before I was ordained.
Really? Did you know her personally?
We weren't close. I only knew her as much as a teacher would know any student.
Alright, so how did she seem toward the
Depressed.
end?
For one, she started skipping school a lot. And when she did show up, she was absent-minded and moody. She always looked depressed and hunched down like she had a whole world on her shoulders.
Any idea of what caused this change?
Not a clue. All I know is that when she returned from that last summer break, she was a whole different person.
Do you know anything about Lily Myers' art?
I saw a few pieces. Gorgeous work. Vibrant, surreal landscapes.
When was this?
Must have been mid-70s. The high school had open days with an art exhibition.
So, this was some time before she changed, right? You didn't see any of her later work?
No. By then she started skipping art class completely from what I heard.
Maybe she was afraid of what she might draw. I hear it was pretty twisted.
Could be, but alas, I suppose we'll never know what was truly haunting her.
I'm doing
Yeah,
my
I
best
might
to
find
find
out.
out. I don't believe the story to be as clear-cut as everyone makes it out to be.
An unusual theory. How so?
People have taken a particular interest in her art. I think there's more to it.
I wouldn't read too much into it, my child. It happens to all dead artists with any talent to speak of.
What's your opinion on Charles Wade?
No opinion. He used to be a prominent figure around here, but he doesn't appear much in town these days.
Actually, he's in the community clinic right now, getting medical treatment.
Oh, I wonder if it's serious. Perhaps I should go talk to him. Even men like Charles Wade need a priest when they're nearing the end of the line.
Care to tell me the history of the church?
I'd be happy to. The story is a fascinating one. This church was founded by my father, William T. Price, in the 70s. Back then, he made his living as a traveling salesman and was driving through this area as he'd done so many times before. However, this day was different. My father held dark thoughts in his mind. He was angry, thinking of evil deeds, even considering swerving off the road into a rock and ending it all. Then suddenly, divine intervention. 3 bright lights appeared. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the sign of God. This epiphany was the moment my father had been waiting for. He sold all of his belongings and took me and my brother to live with him here in Conwell Springs. Soon thereafter, he built this church and started gathering followers. They began to refer to him as Father Bill.
I take it that window up there resembles what he saw when he had this epiphany?
Indeed, the stained glass window depicts the Holy Trinity as witnessed by my father.
Do you know exactly when or where this event took place?
Why do you ask?
Oh, just curious. It's a captivating story.
Well, it was in the spring of 1971, but my father never told anyone where.
Okay, so what happened then?
People flocked to Father Bill. He started teaching, writing scripture. The church flourished and continued to grow all the way up until his sudden death in 1983. That's when I stepped in to take leadership of the church.
I take it that the church started declining after the death of Father Bill?
Yes, naturally so. With such a magnetic personality, he was irreplaceable. But I assure you the church is still very much thriving.
I don't
Looks
think
kinda
people
empty
also
to me.
write scripture.
It's not really our peak hours.
What's up with you handing out pamphlets at funerals then? Trying to reel people in at a weak moment?
I'm going to assume you meant no disrespect, child. I'm simply providing divine guidance when it's needed the most.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in '81?
It was the work of the devil, I'll say that much. Joseph was a kind man. He did not deserve such a fate. You heard my speech at the funeral, Kathy. I meant every word. He was a great man who did much good for this community.
Did you know him personally?
In a way, he and my father did charity work together. Joseph was around a lot when I was young. They collaborated on a few different projects for the homeless and for the troubled youth, among other things.
So my grandfather was a member of the church?
I wouldn't say that, no. He was a friend of the church, but he wasn't a religious man. He believed only in philanthropy. That being said, Joseph was the person who convinced me to become a priest.
Really?
Oh yes, I was a teenager back then, full of rebellion, every fiber of my being wanting to distance myself from my father. Joseph made me realize my sinful pride, and showed me how I should follow my heart regardless of what others might think. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
I doubt he'll know, but...
Do you know anyone who goes by the nickname Cocky?
I have no idea. Sorry.
Alright.
That's all I need for now, Father.
May the Lord shine his light on you.
Not really much to look at here.
Locked.
I was going to say there's no confessional, but it's not necessarily... No, that guy's definitely a Catholic priest. This can't be the confessionals. They're too far apart.
Locked.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. What? I said, forgive me, for I have sinned. Oh, okay. What do you want to tell me? Alright. Oh, wait, I should have showed him that picture. There's a flower.
Well, this is it. This is where the picture was taken. I'm not sure what I expected to find here.
Aliens.
I need to clear my head.
Can you smoke in a nature preserve? Not like there's anyone around to stop her.
What the...
We've met before, haven't we?
Nope, just no. I'd remember a creepy bald dude with makeup.
Memories can deceive, Kathy. Dig deeper.
Who are you? How do you know my name?
You told me, remember?
I feel... strange. Am I dreaming?
It's the mending I will try to facilitate.
You're not real. I'm lying asleep in my bed right now.
Focus, Kathy. Listen to the drowned girl.
You mean Lily? What about her?
She's the anomaly, the missing refrain, the convergence point of things past and events yet to happen.
Dial down the metaphors a notch, would you, Mr. Kafka? I get enough of that shit in English class.
I knew you wouldn't disappoint. I'm glad.
Oh God,
given how
he's
much
scary
trouble
when
I
he
went through
smiles.
to be here. You see, my name was taken from me, so I claimed a color in its stead. The next time we meet, you'll know the exact hue of red. You're on the
So
right
you're Mr.
path,
Pink.
Kathy. Follow your grandfather, and everything will work out in the end.
How'd I get back
Wait,
here?
what?
She doesn't know
How did I
either.
get here? Am I going crazy? Am I turning into Mom?
Well, turning into your mother is one of those things that happens to some people. But I want to show the priest the picture before I forget. Sorry, it's the one real motorcycle song that comes to mind for me.
I could, but I think I have more to gain from a subtle strategy. I'll keep it to myself for now, until I know more about this
All right.
church.
I'm going to go ahead and call. I don't really know the password. I'm going to need a password. Just let me click and drag things. Yeah, we don't want to crash it this time. We just extract the password. OTORGADOR. I got the name right at least. And just a side note, if you try to put the password in without actually in-game learning it, it doesn't work. Orgabor. Wait. O-T-O-R-G-A-D-O-R. Oh, another username. There we go. Charles Wade. Patient undergone successful invasive heart surgery and was transferred to his facility at his own request. Initial progress good. Full recovery 6 to 8 weeks. Room 6B. Alright. This game does not have double-click run or double-click fast travel. Tisk, 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 goth detective. I can just come in and ask him crap? Oh, there we go. I was about to say, another introduction.
It's all right, Claude. Understood, sir.
Does he know who I am?
So, you managed to find me.
I did.
Dude, you
Let's
look
get
like a
this
villain.
over with then. How do you want your pictures? Shall I get some tubes to fill my face with? Will that suffice for your front page?
I'm no journalist. Well, not yet anyway.
Ah, she's but a cub. So, you're hoping for your big break. Surely this must be worth an internship at one of the big papers. Do you want me to call Thompson at the Times and get it over with? I still play
You got
golf
me
with
all
him
wrong,
every
buddy.
once in a while.
I don't need to piggyback on favors. I make my own way.
A stance I can respect. Very well, you have piqued my curiosity. Who are you?
I'm Kathy Rain. Joseph was my grandfather.
Now I remember. You were at the funeral.
I was.
You were late.
I needed my morning smoke. Besides, it's not like Grandpa was going anywhere.
Oh, just look at her, Claude. She's absolutely fearless. That's Joseph's blood running through her veins.
She certainly has a smart
bad when
mouth,
he
sir.
smiles.
I must say, you have me intrigued, Kathy. What can this old man help you with?
He'll know who Cocky is, for one thing.
Do you recognize the call sign Cocky?
Would be strange if I didn't, since I was the one who coined it. It belongs to a fellow named Jimmy Cochran. He was a coward, really. The nickname is somewhat of a bad joke.
Jimmy Cocky.
Perfect. Thanks.
Alright. I think these are the only
You
two
bought a
things he
number
really
of
knows
paintings
about.
by Lily Myers. Why?
I'm known to dabble in art from time to time. Martha, my wife at the time, was enamored with the paintings. I believe she first saw them at the high school which the Myers girl attended. Anyway, after the poor girl killed herself, I bought the paintings speculatively. When a young artist with any talent to speak of commits suicide, it can be a wet dream of certain connoisseurs. Shortly after procuring the art, I had it valued by an expert who determined that the value was 3 times the amount I bought it for. Today, I'm sure I would have made my money back tenfold or more
Ah, damn
if
it.
it wasn't for the art theft.
What art
Art
theft?
There was a burglary at the mansion I used to own here in town. It was all over the local news at the time.
Well, shit.
Eloquently put.
Can you tell me about the art theft?
Well, somebody broke in, stole the paintings, and got out. Fairly clumsy job.
So there is
Lots of
really
broken
something significant
windows.
about that art.
The strangest thing was that I had a Monet, a Rembrandt, and 2 paintings by Picasso, untouched. But every single painting by an unknown local artist, gone.
That can't be a coincidence.
Agreed. Somebody wanted those paintings badly.
I assume there was an investigation.
Yes, Sheriff Truman came by with his deputy a few hours later. But they didn't have much luck. They found a few hairs, which turned out to be from Ruffles, the family dog.
Some
The
stunning
dog
police
did it.
work right there.
Indeed. There was a single witness, though, who said he could make out multiple burglars leaving
Who
the
was the
scene of
witness?
the crime. But nothing more than that.
So, I take it the case was closed?
Yes. I honestly didn't care much one way or the other, given the fact that my most expensive pieces were safe and sound.
I think I'll have a chat with the sheriff about the matter, if that's okay with you.
Certainly. I'll call ahead and instruct him to give you everything you need.
That'd be great. Thanks, Charles.
Anytime. But I'm curious. What's your interest in the paintings?
I've learned that my grandfather went to Sue and asked to see them, right before he had his injury.
Is that so? Strange.
I'm gonna ask anyway.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in '81?
I wish I did, Kathy. You must know I did everything in my power to help. How do you think Mary Elizabeth could afford all that expensive treatment? MRIs, neurologists, say what you will about Joseph. But he was never rich.
Strange.
God, we're not even taking
Grandma
care of
never
our
mentioned that to me.
veterans.
She's just too proud. At first she refused. She was convinced that I had an agenda, that there were strings attached.
And were there?
Don't be silly. Despite all that had happened, I still loved Joseph dearly. I wanted to help. People from places like this have a deeply rooted mistrust in the rich, passed on for generations. In her eyes, I had become one of them.
So that's all you know about the whole affair?
Are you implying that there's more to know? I left the diagnosis to the professionals. Mrs. Rain accepted the health care, but asked me to stay out of everything else. So I did.
I see. What can you tell me about your friendship with Grandpa?
Joseph was the best friend I ever had. We grew up together, married our high school sweethearts together, went to war together. I can't even begin to count the number of times he's saved my life. I repaid the favor once or twice, but he came up ahead, no doubt.
So, when did you two lose touch? I heard that something happened between you and him. What was it?
The truth is, Brian Rain happened. Sharon Evans happened.
My parents?
Yes. They ruined everything with their vile, destructive behavior. I couldn't have that around my daughter, or my newborn grandson. Joseph was naive. He believed that anyone could be helped, that anyone could be reasoned
What'd he
with,
do?
given a chance. He was just too good, bless him. He should have been harder on Brian, more strict.
The mom kept talking about how he had such a big nose, but he's not particularly big-nosed. Meh.
I wouldn't mind teaching my old man some manners myself, wherever he is.
Yes, of course. You must understand this better than anyone. People like your father simply cannot grasp how far their bad influence spreads. So our family started drifting apart. Eventually my company grew much too large for this little town, and we moved on. Not long after that, your grandfather ended up in that wheelchair. That marked the end of our friendship, for obvious reasons.
Well, even if he's a vegetable, he's still your friend.
Tell me about Jimmy Cochran. Is he still alive?
Tell me
In a
about Jimmy
literal
Cockroach.
sense. He's been held in a mental institution for years.
Let me guess. Since '81?
Either 82 or 83. I'm fairly certain it was early 83.
Do you remember the name of the institution?
Something starting with an E. Emerson, Everton, or similar.
Ingstrom? Ingstrom Psychiatric Hospital?
Yes, that's the one. You know the place, Kathy.
I do. My mother is in there. Sharon Evans? I had her committed about a year ago.
I see. It must have taken a lot of courage to do that, Kathy. Mothers have a lot of power over us. More than most of us care to admit.
I guess so. Do you know why Jimmy ended up in there?
some obsessive-compulsive syndrome. He became fixated with circles and started hurting himself, trying to scratch the circles out of his head.
Creepy. I wonder what set him off. I think I'll check the place out tomorrow. Too late to head back to the city now. What can you tell me about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
They seem like any other church to me. But then again, I'm not their usual clientele. Weddings, baptisms, and funerals are just about what I can muster. And I always leave early.
You bought a number of paintings by Lily Myers.
Speculation.
Why?
He already told you.
I'm known to dabble in art from time to time. Martha, my wife at the time, was enamored with the paintings. I believe she first saw them at the high school which the Myers girl attended. Anyway, after the poor girl killed herself, I bought the paintings speculatively. When a young artist with any talent to speak of commits suicide, it can be a wet dream of certain connoisseurs.
Do you have to keep using that metaphor?
Shortly after procuring the art, I had it valued.
Yeah, you
Today,
said
I'm
this.
sure I would have made my money back.
What art?
There was a burglar.
Well, shit.
Bleh.
Eloquent.
You're just literally repeating yourself.
Thanks, Charles. That's all I need for now.
You're welcome, Kathy. Come back anytime.
All right. Thank you very much. Whoa, a gramophone?
Looks like Wade
Really?
brought some of his old tunes with him.
Huh. All right. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, or subscribe. Or not. I'm not the boss of you. Good night.